Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Canal Algérie Midnight News, and these are our top stories. The President of the Republic chaired a meeting of the Council of Ministers on Sunday dedicated to the presentation concerning the mining and railway transport sectors. The Prime Minister established the National Council for Agricultural Mechanization to modernise the agricultural sector and strengthen its production capacity. And abroad, the French media continues to fuel the crisis between Algiers and Paris. This time it was France Télévisions that broadcasted a biased and distorted image of Algeria. And in Morocco, the appearance of the Zionist flag on the Algerian-Moroccan borders has sparked outrage. This confirms the popular rejection of normalization and the unease that it generates among the Moroccan population. Welcome back. The President of the Republic, Ahmed Tebboune, Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defence, chaired this Sunday a meeting of the Council of Ministers that tackled several topics, including the launch of Annaba mining railway project designed to transport extracted phosphates and fertilizers. Ronnie El-Bahri.
The President of the Republic instructed the Prime Minister to diligently monitor the implementation of the Cabinet and government decisions on the ground. The President approved a subsidy of 100,000 dinars for the costs of Algerian pilgrims this year, reducing the total to 820,000 dinars instead of 920,000 dinars. Regarding the launch of the zinc and lead mine in Wadi Mizur, the President stressed the necessity of launching this promising economic project in March 2026, given the job opportunities and economic benefits it will provide to the region in particular and to Algeria in general. Concerning the progress of the mining railway project in Blad al-Hadba and Wad al-Kibrit Annaba Port Line, the President affirmed that the state's investment in the mining sector aims to establish new foundations and resources for the national economy in the coming phases and for the benefit of future generations. The President of the Republic instructed the Minister of Public Works to submit a monthly progress report on this project, emphasizing the need to complete the works by the end of 2026 and to have it operational by the first quarter of 2027 at the latest, with the goal of increasing Algeria's fertilizers production capacity. The President directed the government to ensure daily monitoring of the project and to overcome all obstacles hindering its progress. Regarding the mining quay within the framework of the Annaba port expansion, the President ordered coordination between the Ministries of Public Works, Interior and Transport, as well as the foreign partner, to accelerate the pace and complete the project by the end of 2026, given its importance within the strategy for economic transformation and reducing dependence on hydrocarbons. Concerning the 2026 fisheries roadmap, the President emphasized that developing the fisheries and aquaculture sector is a national imperative and a priority, given its crucial role in strengthening food security. Therefore, efforts must be redoubled to increase production. The President reaffirmed the state's commitment to support Algerian fishermen through guidance, facilities and incentives, aiming to increase the country's fishing quota using modern, efficient methods, as current quotas are underutilized. He also mandated that the Fishermen's Federation be involved in all sectors-related decisions. In agriculture, modern mechanization in afforestation to boost fruit tree production, prioritizing trees with high economic value, such as argan trees. The President of the Republic congratulated the national football team coach Vladimir Petkovic and the technical staff on their Africa Cup of Nations performance, wishing them success in the upcoming World Cup. He also sent special greetings to Algerian fans, especially the diaspora who supported the team abroad. The Council of Ministers concluded by approving the first appointments and terminations.
Prime Minister for agriculture of efforts to modernize the sector and boost production capacity. The Council brings together government departments, farmers' organizations and equipment manufacturers and will draw up a detailed action plan to assess farmers' needs, taking account of sector specifics, requirement and prioritizing equipment for the 2025 to 2027 agricultural seasons. The Council will also focus on boosting and diversifying local production of agricultural machinery while improving maintenance, services and spare parts availability. The creation of nationwide support network aimed at ensuring efficient use of the country's equipment fleet. This instructed by the President of the Republic, the Minister of State, Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad and African Affairs, Ahmed Attaf, arrived in Tunis this Sunday to take part in the ministerial meeting of the tripartite mechanism of Libya's neighbouring countries, Algeria, Tunisia and Egypt. The meeting forms part of ongoing consultations on development in the Libyan crisis and ways to support the UN-led political settlement in full respect of Libya's sovereignty, its people and institutions. The National Conference on Technical Amendments of the Constitution and Organic Electoral Law discussed 10 proposals. One of them is suggested amendments would require candidates for the President of the Republic to prove a certain level of education. Najah Diyal with the details.
The meeting took place amid broader efforts to modernize the legal framework, opening discussions on technical adjustments to constitutional texts while maintaining their fundamental principles. 5 years after the promulgation of the 2020 Constitution and following the completion of the institutional framework stemming from it, practical experience in the organization and functioning of certain constitutional institutions and public bodies has highlighted the need to improve specific, strictly technical aspects of constitutional provisions, particularly across 10 points. The proposals outline 10 technical adjustment measures presented by the Director of the Cabinet of the Presidency of the Republic, ranging from the introduction of a requirement to justify a certain level of education to run from the highest magistracy, the clarification of the procedures for taking the constitutional oath, as well as granting the President of the Republic the authority to call early local elections. The proposals also include the revision of certain provisions related to the Supreme Council of the Judiciary, the extension of the term of the office of the President of the Council of the Nation to 6 years in order to ensure continuity of the parliamentary expertise, and improvement to the organization of ordinary parliamentary sessions. They further address the expansion of the powers of the National Independent Authority for Elections and the reorganization of its functional composition, in addition to the introduction of transitional provisions aimed at filling constitutional gaps, ensuring institutional continuity and allowing the relevant bodies to adapt to legal amendments within reasonable time frames. The amendment forms part of broader efforts to align the constitutional and legislative texts while safeguarding the national constants and core constitutional principles. The proposed technical amendments represent a qualitative step forward aimed at strengthening the effectiveness of continuous readiness within a framework of constructive, functional complementarity. They seek to build a solid democratic and social state founded on national constants and the principles of equality, enshrining rights and freedoms while working to strengthen confidence and consolidate the institutional stability. The participating political parties expressed broad agreement on the conclusions, highlighting the importance of the consultation.
This is only a technical amendment. It doesn't affect the core of the Constitution or its fundamental articles. Our party submitted proposals for the public interest and future stages. Reform began after 2020 Constitution and remains a clear and fixed choice. These technical amendments aim to correct shortcomings observed under the 2020 Constitution. It's positive that the state institutions have the courage to address these gaps. We propose changes related to electoral lists, newly created provinces, the quota system, and increase in seats for the diaspora. These proposals are meant to improve representation. The responsible dialogue held during this conference addressed important political issues concerning both the political class and the authorities. Its outcomes can lead to the national consensus. Clarifying constitutional articles and reviewing them carefully helps align them with current challenges. This is a positive step toward establishing a culture of dialogue and consultation. Reforming the electoral system is an urgent necessity to build real representative democracy. We highly value this initiative that establishes a new constitutional practice in Algeria. The organic law in elections is very important to us. Debates focused on candidate eligibility, electoral lists, and maintaining open lists. Political parties will also submit written proposals. The discussions were serious, responsible, and addressed real challenges faced during elections.
The initiative, Speaker said, seek to adjust the technical provisions, not rewrite the Constitution, to ensure consistency with legislative and institutional realities through dialogue and consensus.
Relations between Algiers and Paris remain tense as French media continue to portray Algeria negatively. The latest France Television report has drawn criticism for its biased tone, while France's own social problems are largely ignored. Raniel Bahri.
Attacking Algeria has become common with every political, social, or identity crisis. French media adopt a biased and hostile tone toward Algeria, as shown in this documentary, which clearly fails to meet basic ethical standards. Facts cannot be replaced by biased media content or by speeches built around voices lacking seriousness and rigor. France Television's latest production looks more like an accusation than a serious investigation, using biased material, selective statements, and images taken out of context and from their real meaning. By inviting commentators known for their hostility toward Algeria, by repeating far-right talking points and language, France Television damages its own image, not Algeria's, through such shameful practices. If French media truly wanted to practice real journalism, they would first focus on France's deep internal crisis instead of creating international tensions, especially issues like political paralysis in parliament, growing social tensions and protests showing public frustration, and the conditions that allow the rapid rise of the far right in France. But some French media prefer to shift attention abroad, creating controversies and naming foreign targets, including Algeria. This is clear when a public TV channel airs such documentaries, choosing ideology over facts, proving that some channels have abandoned their duty to inform and now follow path of confrontation, repetition, and biased storytelling instead of balanced reporting, all with the goal of damaging Algeria's image. Yet Algeria doesn't need the French media to exist internationally. It's Africa's third largest economy, its second largest military power, and a major regional and Mediterranean actor that has always played an important role, important on the international diplomatic stage, contributing to the stability and conflict resolution.
The Zionist flag incident at the Algerian-Moroccan border sparked massive Moroccan backlash, revealing ongoing public rejection of normalization and widening divide between official policy and popular demands. Najatiyar.
A wave of outrage erupted at the Algerian-Moroccan border after the Moroccan side displayed the flag of the Zionist entity. The images rapidly shared on social media were seen as a deliberate political provocation and reignited widespread anger among Moroccan public opinion. This incident comes amid a regional climate defined by the war in Palestine and the president's rejection of the normalization. The Moroccan society reacted immediately, expressing anger across the country. On social media, the citizens, activists and organizations condemned the act as incompatible with Morocco's long-standing support for the Palestinian cause. For many, the incident is not isolated, but rather highlights the broader issue of the normalization between the Mersin and the Zionist entity. protests have erupted across several cities in the kingdom since 2020, when the Mahsen normalized diplomatic relations with the Zionist entity. And this persistent popular opposition sharply contrasts with the Mahsen's diplomatic choices and exposes a widening gap between the Moroccan street and the official policy. And amid a tense regional climate defined by the ongoing violence in Gaza, this incident is highly revealing. It exposes the social and political fragility of the normalization and reignites the debate over its popular legitimacy. With no official response, the Moroccan street has asserted its own symbolic power, reminding the authorities that the Palestinian cause remains a non-negotiable political cornerstone.
And Doctors Without Borders announced that its international staff and medical supplies have been blocked from entering Gaza since the start of the year. The NGO says this pressure is forcing it to choose between sharing staff data or abandoning Palestinians in need. Doctors Without Borders warn this is part of a wider effort to obstruct humanitarian work as millions urgently require aid. The UN, for its part, has also condemned the continued ban on international journalists entering Gaza, stating that this situation fuels disinformation. That was it for Midnight News. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned on Canal Algérie. Bye for now.